Welcome to Stocks Over Stuff, where I investigate the what-ifs of stock investing. Since 2011, the average refund from the IRS has been about $2,800. What if you took your tax refund and bought stocks instead? How much would that stock be worth today? And if you thought you disliked the IRS, stick around towards the end when I tell you about a guy who would die over his hatred for the man. Also, did the IRS help bring down mobster Al Capone? Alright, let's get into the chart and find out what happens. To start us off, we will purchase Tesla stock every year at the end of April on the closing price with our what if tax return, and that will be our only trade for the year. Simple enough, right? Well, the IRS started in 1862 called the Commissioner of Internal Revenue to assess the United States' first income tax to fund the American Civil War. Under President Abraham Lincoln, the first commissioner was George S. Boutwell, a former U.S. Senator and Representative from Massachusetts. In 1872, the temporary Civil War income tax expired. The Bureau of Internal Revenue was created in 1913 with the ratification of the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which authorized Congress to impose a tax on income. The agency was renamed to Internal Revenue Service in 1953. The first year in 1913, no taxes were collected. Only the forms were collected to check for accuracy. The IRS processes over 240 million tax returns every year and issues around 400 billion in tax refunds. E-filing started in 1986 with just 25,000 returns. Now more than 90% of taxpayers file electronically. Audit rates are actually low. Less than 1% of individual tax returns are audited. Most audits are done by mail rather than in-person visits. Okay, let's check out the final numbers. Since 2011, the IRS would have returned $40,500 on average. With that, you would have been able to buy 4,758 Tesla stock over the years. And your value today would be sitting at a crazy amount of $1.4 million. That is wild. On October 17, 1931, the mobster Al Capone of the Chicago outfit was sentenced to 11 years in prison for failing to file tax returns. According to Capone, he never filed a federal income tax return, claiming that he had no taxable income. This was true until the case of U.S. versus Sullivan happened, and they found gains from illicit traffic in liquor are subject to the income tax and would be taxable. This paved the way for the government to go after Al Capone. Failing to capture him for violence or other illegal enterprises, it was tax evasion that brought him to justice. Now, let me tell you about Andrew Stack of North Austin, Texas. According to Jack Cook, a person close to Andrew, Mr. Stacks had many troubles with the IRS, saying they broke him and took away his savings. Mr. Stack was described as easygoing, an amateur musician who not only had marital troubles but also had a grudge against the IRS, stating in his suicide note, which is linked in the description, that he was going to try something different and for the IRS to take his pound of flesh and sleep well. After this, Mr. Stacks took off in his single-engine fixed-wing Piper Dakota aircraft from Georgetown Municipal Airport and flew it into the 7-story IRS office building, killing himself and IRS officer group manager Vernon Hunter. 13 people were injured, with 2 of them critically. In the aftermath, the IRS spent more than $38.6 million after the suicide attack on improving security at IRS buildings across the United States, document recovery, immediate response, and to resume operations at the Austin facility. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more stocks over stuff scenarios, click that like and subscribe button, and please comment below if you want me to analyze any other companies. Thanks for watching, and remember, invest wisely, but don't forget to enjoy the ride. See you in the next video.